Cheers! Welcome to my channel. This is beginning of the month for May Tarot Oracle reading. And Libra, you are the star of this astrological insight. If your sun sign is not Libra, we all have a little bit of Libra in us somewhere. If you do have your birth chart, what house is Libra in? That could give you further clarity as to your situation now. This is a timely reading, meaning if you're watching it at this time, it is the perfect time for you. Hold on a second. Having said that, if it's been a while since I posted this, what was going on in your life back then? That could give you further clarity as to your situation now. All right, we're going to begin with the underlying energy from the bottom of the deck, and that is the King of Cups. So the King of Cups is representing one of four kings in the minor arcana. He is the most emotionally available. As you can see, he's out in the middle of this water here, and it's rough water. Rough water in tarot represents volatile emotions and chaotic energy, but he's in the eye of the storm, sitting on a cement slab on his throne, and he does have a cup of love that he wants to deliver. But he's waiting for the opportune time to do it because of all the kings, he's the most emotionally stable and has a really good sense for if he's waiting for the right time, because he wants whoever he's offering this to accept his offer, and knows they're kind of in a chaotic time in their life right now. So this could be a King of Cups that has his eye on you, or you could be this King of Cups. Your internal forces, we've got the Nine of Swords. This card is coming up a lot in the readings, and I feel it's just because of a lot of what's going on in the world right now. This energy, internal forces, are the what ifs in life. So you'll know it's an internal force because you'll be asking the question, like, what if this happens? What if that happens? Woulda, shoulda, coulda, that type of energy. So, and this is talking about this person could have just woken up from a nightmare, and it's like a never-ending nightmare that just keeps repeating itself. Or this could represent being woken up in the wee hours by Holy Spirit after having prayed and meditated and asked God for assistance. And now maybe in your dream state you received some knowledge and you're just trying to remember it here. This blanket on the bed, this quilt, has cosmic symbols on it representing that the universe does have you covered. It is saying, though, that to change this situation, you are going to probably have to get out of bed and leave your comfort zone. So that's the internal forces. And now we have, this is how you're identifying with yourself right now. This is, your self-image, how you see yourself right now. And so this is representing someone who has a closed mind, or is having having a challenge to come to some sort of conclusion in which direction to go. It's saying that you feel like the only way you can see out is either this or that. And quite often that ends up adding up to my way or the highway. So this energy can be talking about, having a closed mind and the blindfold of not really wanting, not being able to see anything but these two options. And neither one of those is satisfactory. So you're sort of stuck here. And this, when people sit like this in body language, with their feet turned out like this, it shows that there's some sort of draining of energy. So you might be really tired at this time, especially if you're waking up in the middle of the night to nightmares and not sleeping well. So this energy, you can see in her upper body here, that her arms are crossed over her heart, and that is a sign that she's feeling vulnerable and protecting her heart. So it could be something that's happened that she feels like vulnerable, and maybe in matters of love, that type of energy. And this also is the right arm is holding the left arm back. The right arm represents your logic, and the left arm represents your intuition. So this is saying you need to use your intuition with your logic to get creative solutions. And the moon in the background, we do have a moon coming up tomorrow, the full moon in Scorpio. So this energy is saying you're highly intuitive right now. Generally with the full moon, we'll feel that energy 3 days before and 3 days after. So This basically is saying use your third eye so that you can go inward and use your intuition as well as your logic. Then this is talking about your abundance. So it looks like this card could mean a couple of things here. This quite often represents, like the cups represent love, and quite often romantic love, but sometimes they represent, you know, they can be love of anyone or anything, and they also could represent something you love to do or be. But this quite often means a soulmate energy. So if you're in the, you know, looking for love, this is saying that your soulmate could be coming through for you. And this card can sometimes also represent, like if you're in this kind of energy of wanting to get balanced in your masculine and your feminine energy. And this Hermes symbol represents like healing energy and being very connected to the higher self network. So these two are connecting on a soul level, and so are highly connected to what I refer to as HSN, the higher self network. So it's like being on the internet, except the difference is when you're on the internet, like you log in and you log out, whereas the higher self network, you are on it 24/7, whether you're aware of it or not. So sometimes this card, if it's not about love coming into your life, could represent you being balanced, getting balanced in your masculine and feminine energies, and wanting to connect to source energy so that you can get the answers that you need. And then we have the your communication from early life, and that's this Four of Pentacles. So the Four of Pentacles is like, it's not a whole lot of, like it's representing the pentacle, and the pentacles in tarot are health, wealth, and happiness in the third dimensional world. Now, this is like saying you have you know, a strong foundation, but you're not, you have for money. Quite often it represents, you know, this is the 3 levels of making money. Having safe money, that's the money, like basically that you need it to be able to pay your mortgage, your car payments, all of that type of energy. And this is saying that to move to the next level, you have to take advantage of some opportunities. So this is the heart's desires, and then your crown and glory. So when you go to your crown and glory, it means that you're on your destined path, and your lifestyle improves greatly when you're on your destined path. This is talking about having to sometimes leave your comfort zone. His back is to the city. And this can also represent that maybe in the past you've played small, in that like you had a little bit of money left over here that you could have invested in, and you weren't willing to take the risk. So this is saying that sometimes you have to leave your comfort zone, do your research, of course, and make sure that it's a solid investment. But sometimes, like the best investment always is investing in yourself. So this is talking about, like, even if you invest in taking a course, upgrading your education, it will pay off for you in some way. And so this energy is sometimes saying you're playing small, or you've sold yourself short in the past. And that, you know, be aware of the opportunities being presented to you and invest in yourself. And then we have to improve your lifestyle. And so then we have here the emotional foundation, where, you know, your home and family, how you feel about that right now. And I feel like you're feeling pretty good. It's really interesting when these cards come out together, and they quite often do. And so it's talking this is talking about having all the love you wish for. It's like 9 cups, and there's only 10 cups in the tarot. So hopefully this isn't 9 romantic partners, but it can be like, you know, you're, you know, loving your partner, loving your children, your parents, your extended family, you know, loving where you live, your career, your clients, you know, that type of energy. And this is talking about everything you wish for. Now, you notice the body language here, there's leaking of energy here as well, but the arms are dropped. And so it's almost like he's making an infinity symbol here, which represents infinite potential. And this person in tarot, when they make people a little bit chubby, it's because they're showing that they've been successful. Back in the days, that meant you weren't starving to death and you could afford food. So basically, this person looks like they could be a public figure sitting on stage. Their body language is slightly incongruent. So it's saying they might be losing some focus on where they're to get what they want. And so this is saying stay focused. Don't allow yourself to be distracted by fears and that type of energy. Many a race is lost in the last lap. And so this is talking about having an open mind would be very beneficial. And there's no point in like getting in a thinking loop and getting worried. It's better to use your creative solutions to keep moving forward. You're almost there. So and this is also saying, like, these cups, it's hard to tell because this person looks like they're on a stage. So this, like, it could be maybe the King of Cups is a public figure, if you're not the King of Cups, then maybe you're a public figure and he's a public figure. Could be. But if it's the soulmate energy. And these cups could be like from the past and they're already sitting on a shelf behind him, or maybe they're just above his head, or maybe they're forward and it's coming in the near future here. We have the Five of Swords here. So the Five of Swords does represent, with this card here, I would say this is talking about having some conflict in your life. So there could be conflict on the outside of your life, and coming from the external forces, and you've already had to fight down two people, and you've got this person's like, any other takers? I'm fighting for what's mine, and you can try and take it from me all you want, but I'm gonna win. This is like cutthroat energy, taking a risk energy, that type of energy. But sometimes this card can represent the inner conflict, and because this is internal forces, this card can sometimes represent three different versions of you. And, the swords do represent your mental intelligence and your mind, your thoughts. And so if you're, this can sometimes represent your subconscious mind, which is the thoughts that you have from when you were young, like under the age of usually 6 or 7. And it's we quite often can't remember what happened to us when we're young unless something significant really happened, and especially when we're a baby. Yet a baby is like a sponge, and in that first year alone, look how much a baby learns. So the environment is heavily imprinted and has a huge effect on the baby and on a baby's developing mind, as well as the thoughts of the people who are in charge of your care, your parents, grandparents, babysitters, etc., have a huge influence on how you think when you get older in the subconscious mind. And so the subconscious mind, when we get stressed out, that tends to be, that's what I'll do. But it's really not necessarily your thoughts. It could be the thoughts of the people who raised you. And they told you, oh, you were like this when you were a baby, you're like that, but you can't really remember it yourself. And then your unconscious mind is more like your soul's needs. And a lot of people will say, yes, I recognize I'm a human being with a soul, but from the soul's perspective, you're actually a soul traveling in a human body, and that's your vehicle to get around. And if your needs aren't being met as a soul, then you might cause a lot of conflict between the subconscious mind and the conscious mind. So this, and then we also have the conscious mind, which you can see he's got a handle on that. And that's like, I went to the store yesterday, I purchased these 3 items, they cost this much money. I walked home, I cooked supper and enjoyed it. And you have a memory of all that. So it's conscious, you have that. So if you can get if your conscious mind, your unconscious mind, and your subconscious mind are arguing with each other, basically, it's going to cause a lot of inner conflict and put you in this position where it's really hard to make decisions instead of being easy and to come up with creative solutions. So if you can get the 3 minds congruent with each other, which you can do by training your mind to work for you. Your mind should be working for you, not against you. And so the way you quiet your mind is through meditation and prayer. you force your mind to be quiet and you go to your heart and you feel with your heart what is it that your authentic desires are. Because if you can plug in, if you can get your subconscious, unconscious, and conscious mind congruent, then and plug that into your heart, then you're going to really have a lot of success moving forward and getting your heart's desires. And this is in your creativity, romance, and children. So you might be in a situation where like I'm just picking up an energy of someone that's like maybe like trying to raise a family here, and the economy and everything, there's a lot going on in the world right now. And so a lot of people are kind of like, oh, what should I do? What should I do? And they're having trouble sleeping. The markets are always changing. The real estate markets, there's a lot of the interest rates being higher, affecting mortgages for a lot of people. It's just that type of energy. Inflation is up. There's just so much happening in the world, and then the outer dynamics as well. I mean, it's really an intense place in the world right now. We had astrologically, we've had a very busy astrological period. Like sometimes there's not that many astrological influences affecting us, and sometimes it's really a lot. And we had a lot in February and March, and we're kind of settling down a little bit now. But it's been, if you want to know more about those, you can check out the full moon and the new moon, because the eclipses have a big part to play in this as well. And the eclipses were on February 17th and March 3rd. And so just, if you want to know for your sign, I did readings for all that. The eclipses tend to the energy like hangs around. I've been describing it as potpourri, being on the back burner of your stove. It's simmering there and you can smell it. But it's in the background. It's not like a priority or anything like that. And so you're, that's how the eclipses are. Like 6 months later, you look back and you go, wow, a lot of change happened, either for the positive or the negative. But you didn't really notice because you were busy. You were in it right at the time. So you were like, so that type of influence. And we had a lot of planets had moved into the sign of Aries. And Neptune and Saturn are still there. Neptune will be there for 14 more years. Saturn will be there for about 2.5 to 3. And we also have the energy on April 25th. We had Uranus move into the sign of Gemini. And the last time Uranus was in Gemini was in 1941 to 1949. And so that energy is like, very prevalent in the world right now. And so it's really, it's a lot of people are feeling like almost like the rug's been pulled out from underneath them in some ways. And, you turn on the news and there's always another energy coming out. One of the things that, because I don't want to get too much into what I've already covered, you can go back and look at some of those readings if you want. But from the beginning and the middle of the month and at the end of the month, I have every 10 days basically in the month I have a reading. But the energy that's important to understand about this Uranus energy is that it is like in Gemini, what it brings the truth out. And so we have about 7 or 8 years of that, like new energy, like, okay, here's another truth today. Here's something else that's changing that you need to deal with. And so it's that type of energy. So you have to be aware that, this isn't a temporary, like a couple weeks energy. It's pretty much going to be that way for a while. And of course it affects different, people differently, but generally bottom line is when Uranus is in Gemini, a lot of truth comes out. And so judgment, yes, and so there's a lot of judgment, and this is God's judgment coming from the spiritual realm down to earth. The ancestors are literally climbing out of their boxes cheering. They're woohoo, finally. So this could represent some sort of energy that maybe your ancestors had some unfinished business that they couldn't clean up before you know, before they left the physical realm, and now they're like excited because they're waving back and forth to the descendants. Yay, justice is here. So there might be some sort of unfinished business, and that judgment is coming up. This card can sometimes represent like Pandora's box, and once Pandora's box is open, you can't close it again. And it's also talking about skeletons coming out of the closet, that type of energy. So, you know, there's a lot of that uneasiness in the air right now. But if you've been on the up and up, and you're on the right side of the law, and you're doing things, you know, you're on your path, and you're doing your best to be a decent human being, then, you know, the truth is in your favor always. And the truth always comes out. It might even take generations, but eventually the truth comes out. It has to. It's coming back to order. And so the external forces, this card has also been coming up a lot, where people are feeling like maybe they've put a lot of work into something and they've been breadcrumbed. They didn't get out of it what they thought they would. And so this energy, the Six of Pentacles, is talking about planting seeds for the future and then reaping the harvest. And sometimes feeling like the harvest isn't as big as you expected it to be, and you put a lot of effort into something, and it's kind of that energy. But it also is talking about learning discernment of the give and take in the world. So the Pentacles, you know, they don't just represent coin, money, but they represent lifestyle. So it's how much do you invest of your time, your money, your energy? Who do you invest it in? What do you invest it in? And what do you anticipate the return being? Is it a fair exchange? You know, that type of energy. So this person's doing quite well. This would represent, like, there's 10 Pentacles. So this would be probably like upper middle class. And he's handing out coin to this person because his discernment is telling him this person will use it wisely and they'll benefit from it, and they actually could use it right now, like they need it. But this person, he's got the scales of justice hanging above this person's head, because if you look more closely, he's got something in his pocket here. So he's a grifter. He's like, get your butt to work. I'm not giving you my money. That's the external forces, kind of that energy where people are watching. Like it's good to learn that give and take. And the thing is that you're going to make mistakes when you're learning these lessons in life. Sometimes you learn things the easy way, sometimes you learn things the hard way, sometimes you know, it's positive, sometimes it's negative. But the trick is to, once you learn the lesson, then like learn it the first time around, so that you don't have to keep repeating the same lesson over and over again, and then, you know, dealing with it. Okay, so the Wheel of Fortune is turning. This card's been coming up a lot, and this is really good energy. This is saying the Wheel of Fortune is turning in your favor. And like this Wheel of Fortune actually is 3 wheels that are in synchronicity with each other. And on one of these wheels are the Hebrew letters for the name of God. And actually they are tetragrammaton. And that is a sacred geometric symbol representing unity and also, you know, divine order. God has made a beautiful planet here. The universe is a beautiful place to be. I mean, there is perfect order. It feels really chaotic at times, but there really is perfect order. And in geometria, they assign a numerical value to letters. And when they took the letters in different sequences with the letters of the name of God, they add up to the Phi ratio approximately. And that's 1.618. And it's kind of like if you picture boxes that are in, you know, progressively bigger, and they all fit in perfectly for a pattern. So the pattern is like the golden spiral, which you can see in tornadoes and hurricanes, and you can see it with water running down the drain, actually. You can see it in seashells, in beehives, in pine cones, and you know, cone flowers, and in pineapples. Like, it's that pattern. And there's also the golden ratio, and that we can see, like, say you take the human being, for instance, a human being's face. You know, there's a certain pattern to how the face is made up, like the distance from the top of the hairline to the eyebrows, and from the eyebrows to the bottom of the nose, and the nose to the chin. and then the face divided in half. And so all of that fits in this perfect order. And then you can also take that, like the size of the head to the size of the upper body, lower body, the upper limbs, lower limbs, the hands, the feet, the fingers, the toes. And you see that when you see a baby born, like it's just, it's a miracle. Everything's so in perfect order. And so when you go for a walk in nature, you can see this in flowers, you can see it in trees, the way the branches are formed, like the number of branches on that come off of the main limbs. Everything is in perfect order. So it's, like once you realize that, you start thinking, it feels like the world's going to chaos, and some days feel very chaotic these days. But the natural order of God's world is a very orderly place. And so I find, and this is actually in your partnerships, commitments, and also your spouse. So this could represent then that there's some wheel of fortune is turning, and you are actually going to meet your soulmate for some of you. And this could also represent, some business, like something you love to do or love to be, and maybe there's some energy there where, the pentacle energy is going to increase. We have the King of Swords. The King of Swords has been showing up in almost every reading as well. And this is talking about, it doesn't matter how many times I shuffle, the cards are coming, and that's just the way, because it's similar energy for each sign, but slightly different. So the King of Swords is representing someone who would earn their living by being a professional, not more using the mind, and your mind is your thoughts, and then your thoughts are either they're expressed through words, either written or verbal. So this can represent someone who's a speaker, politicians. This is a king, so it could be a king, it could be a president, a prime minister, someone who's high up in the Congress, in the Senate, that type of energy, someone that has pull in. It can represent the legal, the court systems. So it could be like, if this is a lawyer, this would be a lawyer who's a partner in a firm that is well established, that type of energy, head prosecutor, judges, lawmakers, the people that are actually responsible for making the laws, or the court systems, that type of energy. This could be an author, a best-selling author on the New York Times best-selling list, researcher that wins the Nobel Peace Prize for finding a cure for disease. This could be an inventor with patents, in intellectual property, social media influencer, that type of energy. And the thing is about the King of Swords is the King of Swords understands that words have power, and that they can be used as weapons, or they can be used to uplift people. So it's depending on how we use them. And this energy, quite often, like this will be someone also who understands that if you give your word, actions speak louder than words. So don't give your word unless you're going to come through, or else, your word is meaningless. So this is about transition. There's, there could be some sort of energy there with, I don't know if you're in that kind of energy, or there could be someone that you're seeking advice from that is in that field. We have the Temperance energy. This is talking about having the devotion to your divine path. A lot of people talk about this energy as being an earth angel. Earth angels, there's in the Bible, it says there's 144,000 earth angels that come down to earth to make the world a better place, more beautiful. And this is talking about this type of energy. The alchemy is happening here. Like this angel has her foot in the universal pool. This is her right foot taking action to add her own special ingredients. And then she's got her left foot grounded on earth to bring it down to earth. And you can already see these beautiful flowers are growing where her foot is touching the earth. And this is talking about staying on your path of glory, God's path, the one that you were put on. So this is having the patience to stay on your divine path, which can be kind of hard sometimes, because it quite often seems like people who are, cutting corners and whatever are doing better than if you stay on your divine path. But in the end, it always pays off. It's kind of like a lot of, like this is when your lifestyle improves and you're actually enjoying what you're doing, and it comes natural to you. It's brings happiness every day rather than drudgery. And then it's not something, it's something that's sustainable as well. When we fast money, a lot of times people, you may have noticed, a lot of people lose fast money. And so the Queen of Wands, there's nothing wrong with doing well fast either, as long as you're on your destined path and you're doing it through legal ways and all of that energy. So the Queen of Wands energy is talking about, she's one of the 4 queens in the minor arcana, and she's considered to be a natural beauty. Her big thing is she's really happy, and that's naturally a happy person, optimistic. She has the sunflower here, which is representing that. The sunflower follows the sun, which is God's energy. So she always, and this veil behind her is representing the thin veil that's between the spiritual realm and the physical. So she understands how to use her intuition along with her logic, and so she comes to creative solutions very easy. And the wands represent taking action and having passion. It's made of wood, so it's talking about wood feeds fire, and also it's about taking passionate action. And this is from a tree, so it's representing the deep roots of your ancestors as well as the descendants, the offshoots. She has this little black cat here, but a lot of people wouldn't have a black cat, but she doesn't care. She's not superstitious. She's like, I'll find a creative solution if the cat, I love my cat, I'm just going to keep my cat, I don't care what color it is. If it becomes a problem, I'm sure I'll find a solution for it. That's her attitude in general, so she's pretty easygoing, that type of energy. So this is representing your career and reputation. So you might be getting an upgrade in that way, where maybe work's been challenging lately, and that's been something that you're worried about, and then all of a sudden this could represent, with the Wheel of Fortune turning, that something comes up that's like just perfect for you. You get a promotion that you always wanted, you get upgrade in pay, that type of energy. And then we have a cup of love coming in on top of it. So this is a knight in shining armor coming through. So this could be when this soulmate energy comes in. Maybe it's this energy here, but the King of Cups could be the same energy as this. Sometimes that happens. It can be talking about a king that's in his love, and maybe he's a professional in some sort, or someone that uses his mind to earn his living, basically, or a speaker, that type of energy. And the Knight of Cups is representing like the knight in shining armor. In the old days, the knights would travel far and wide delivering communication, and of course in those days that was the only long distance communication they had. These days, it doesn't have to be in person, so you don't have to wait for someone to knock on your door to say, oh, the Knight of Cups came in. It could be a phone call, a text message, maybe you get an email, or you might get something delivered in the mail, or a card, an invitation. It also can represent, maybe on social media you get a message, or there's an event posted, you go to it, and then you meet someone in person there. That type of energy. Also with the Knight of Cups, it could represent online dating. And it's always a good idea to pay attention what's happening at the top of the pyramid, as far as communication and information coming in, because whatever is happening at the top of the pyramid is definitely going to trickle down to as above, so below energy. So we have, this would be in blessings coming in. So if this is your soulmate, that's always a real blessing. Someone that you can really share it'll upgrade your lifestyle. And then we have the Magician. So this is talking about, this is good. There's a lot of, this is an energetic upgrade. It's saying as above, so below. You have what you need. You have infinite potential to the power of infinity and beyond to create a beautiful garden on earth. You have the tools you need. You just need to learn how to use them, and you need to use the right tool for the right job. And you may have noticed if you've ever had a yard, that if you leave the tools laying around, they don't get up and do the work themselves. So you have to, you know, participate basically. But I feel like this energy here is shifting, because we do have the Wheel of Fortune here and judgment's being called. This could be something like, it feels like it's something outside of you, but you mostly have good energy coming in, Libra. So it's just kind of, I feel like a lot of people are kind of on edge. And we do have Pluto on May 6th is going to be moving, going retrograde into Aquarius. And sometimes like we can be feeling that energy already, because it's a pretty intense energy. And you know, Pluto is ice cold basically, right? So it can cause kind of like an energy where it magnifies problems, and it can cause like a bit of confusion and make people feel a little bit anxious. So, you know, and it's going to be in retrograde in Aquarius until the 15th of October. So it's just saying don't blow things out of proportion. You know, if you're feeling a little off right now, just stay calm, get some rest if you need it, and, you know, things are shifting for the better. A lot of people on the planet are feeling this right now. There's just a lot of astrological influences and a lot of, you know, shift going on in the planet. That's pretty, every day it's another, okay, I guess we're going to deal with this now. It's just a weird energy out there. I do hope you, oh yes, you're a good kitty. I do hope you've enjoyed this. If you're leaving the reading here, please do give it a like and comment. I really appreciate it. It helps me build my channel. Also consider subscribing if you resonate. I would be honored if you did so. I'm going to clarify now for those of you who would want clarification with this. I'm using my Oracle Tales from the Vector. I started this back in 2007. And I completed the 64th painting in 2020. I do have a website, talesfromthevector.com, and I do have a gallery with the paintings in there. These numbers on these cards represent the order of the paintings in there. Stella, quit chewing on my cards. And so I'm going to list them in the description box below for the video, and you can take a look at that if you want. You'll know which paintings to look for. It might give you further clarity. They say a painting paints 1,000 words. I've had a lot of fun doing it, and it's from the Intergalactic Federation of Light. So this is talking, okay, Stella, are you going to settle down? Oh, my cat has happy feet. She's purring away here, so she's raising the vibration for us. They say a cat's purr can lower your high blood pressure, so it can't hurt. You may not be able to hear her though, because I have a noise canceling mic on. I do have a lot of construction around here, so yeah. She's in a very good mood. Yeah, you're a good little kitty. Okay, you purr away and we're going to suck that energy in. So justice is coming. And so the King of Cups, sometimes it could just be having this 10th cup of love is the justice that you need. Doesn't necessarily have to talk about actual justice, you know, like in a court of law. This is talking about, although the ancestors seem to be wanting justice for something, we have the transition coming in. You know, that's what I feel is causing a lot of people's stress right now, is there's a lot of transitions coming in, and you just think, oh, I just got that, and then it feels like, man, what I used to do isn't working like it used to. Like this always works, but that's because Neptune left Pisces in it was like at the end, towards the end of February. And Pisces left, Neptune was really happy in Pisces, and it was more like idealistic. Now it moved into Aries, and Aries is like ruled by Mars, so it's way more aggressive energy. And it's Neptune is going to, it's kind of about how you approach life. How do you approach people and, you know, clients and business? How do you approach your job? You know, and it's kind of like, you know, how do you approach love? How do you, all your relationships, your relationship with money, all of it. And that kind of energy was more idealistic, and now it's more aggressive. And it's going to be, the Neptune's going to be in Aries now for 14 years. So we're just going to have to get, you know, you think about a baby and how much a baby has to learn. So sometimes you might just have to tweak the way you've been doing things, and then it'll start working for you. Or look at a different way of doing it that would be even better, you know, that kind of energy. This is falling and failing in love. It's a matter of eye. This is about the heart chakra opening up to the soulmate energy. So those of you who are looking for love could be. And then we have the world. So this, when the Fool goes on his cycle in the major arcana, he starts at the 0 point, and card 21 means you've completed the cycle. You're successful in getting whatever you could out of it. You need to move on to another cycle. And then we have like this could be some of the rewards coming in. Okay, there's denial on this. So what I don't know won't hurt me. Maybe it's like, maybe you've been like really busy working on your, you know, your pentacle energy and your career in that. And you're like, oh, I don't need love in my life. And now, or you've been hurt because there's this protecting the heart. And maybe it's time to open up to love again. Maybe you would really enjoy that cup of love and having that companionship. The Aquarius energy is talking about this, in this cutthroat energy, the best thing you can do is experiment a little bit, small experiments, to see if you do something a little bit differently, does that improve your situation? And you don't, you know, Aquarius loves doing that, and it's that type of energy. And so when the horoscope signs come in, I just want to point out, I'm not talking about individuals. I'm talking about what can we learn from each of the signs. If you ever get your birth chart done, you'll notice that you have probably most of the signs there in there somewhere, and we can learn from all of them. And because Uranus, this is that Uranus energy, that's what I feel it's representing, that the best way to deal with this Uranus energy and the truth coming out in that is, you know, to number one, like remember Neptune is causing you to have to experiment a little, and it's about observing what's going on and seeing what works and what doesn't. And so if it's not working, don't be afraid to try tweaking something a little bit and just seeing what the result is, and then doubling up on that if it improves. This karmic space of pride, you know, we can all easily fall into this, and it's kind of like an all or nothing energy. If you've ever been that way yourself, or you've had that experience, like where you go to someone's house and it's immaculate, and you're like, whoa, this person could be on Instagram. This is how they live. But then the next time you go and it's like a bomb hit. And so they either have it immaculate or it's a total mess. There's no in between. It can be, pride can, you know, kind of get people in that type of energy. I won't bother doing it because it's not gonna be successful anyway. Or, oh, I rock, you know. And so, yeah, the two extremes, it's better sometimes to be more in the middle. The Pisces energy is coming in. So this is talking, I feel, about that Neptune and Saturn energy moving into Aries. You know, the Neptune I already talked about, but the Saturn energy is like responsibility. Like, I have to pay the bills, I have to do this, I have to do that, I have to be responsible. So Saturn energy moved into Aries as well to join Neptune. To make us do more new shift. Hey, would you like to learn a new skill today? That type of energy. So the Hierophant is talking about traditional structure and bringing, you know, it's about justice coming down. And we do have that. Justice can simply be just living a good life. Like, you know, what do they say? The best revenge is living well. And jealousy. So this can talk about sibling rivalry. That's interesting because that's in transition. So I don't know. It could be so many things. Sometimes, you know, jealousy is a weird karmic space. Sometimes we can even be jealous of ourselves when we had more money or we were thinner or whatever. So it's very common for there to be sibling rivalry. Like generally you do have some karma when you come in with your siblings because you're supposed to learn from it. But sometimes it can be taken to the extreme. This painting is actually of those Russian dolls that, you know, fit into each other. And it's basically talking about that golden spiral, golden ratio energy. But sometimes it goes awry, you know. But what it's saying is, you know, sometimes siblings can be jealous of each other, but really you're better off focusing on your own destiny than worrying about what your siblings are doing. And then we have judgment coming in. So this is God's judgment. And this is the same dragon. She's a pink and green dragon. The difference is that she's falling and failing in love are a matter of eye. That's the personal heart chakra. And she's falling upside down. And it's basically saying you need to love yourself enough to have someone else love you. You know, like you can't expect someone else to love you more than you love yourself. If you don't love yourself, you're going to attract someone who doesn't love themselves, and probably someone who can't show that love. The judge, this is talking about she's upright in this, and this is an unfettered heart chakra, but this is talking about the cosmic heart. And it's interesting because this is Sagittarius energy, and some people believe that the cosmic heart is actually like in the Milky Way, there's a black hole in the Sagittarius you know, in the formation of the stars. And so in that Sagittarius energy, there's that black hole. A lot of people feel that it represents the heart of the Milky Way, so the celestial heart. And so this is talking about basically, you know, God is the only one who really truly could judge another human being, because God understands people's hearts, where we, you know, we can know people, but we can't really know them that well, that we understand sometimes why they do the things they do and what they've been through maybe in their life that we don't know about. So the guiding star energy is talking about following that North Star, and then it's more of a happy, like if you use your intuition and your logic, you're more likely to have good results and live a more easy life. Like it'll just be a little less stressful. Again, using your third eye for the blessings coming in. That's that love. I feel like for some of you, if you're looking for your soulmate coming in, they're on their way if you want them. That type of energy. And then this is talking about scotoma. So this is a blind spot that you have that maybe you've learned from now. And that's why from moving into this new cycle again, because the Wheel of Fortune is really turning for you. So, you know, a blind spot could be, you know, something that everybody else can see, but you can't, or you can see, but nobody else can see. And quite often, like if, you know, this card says, if the windshield is bigger than the rear view mirror for a reason, it's good to look back at the, you know, shoulder check. Look back at the past to make sure like you're learning from what's happened, but look forward and keep your focus on where you're going, kind of this energy here. All right, I do hope you've enjoyed this. Please give it a like and comment if you have. I really do appreciate it. It helps me build my channel. Consider subscribing if you resonate with the channel, and I'll be back with another reading for you soon, Libra. Bye for now. Sorry, little Stella, I have to wake you up now. Yeah.